I'm red. I'm a red boy. I'm a red boy. Don't I look red right now? I'm such a red boy. I'm not looking as red as I was just a second ago. Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and also the best teeth in the game. You know who it is. It's time for another episode of Let's Argue, where I take your unpopular opinions, your hot takes, your tough questions. I respond to the best ones in this segment. Let's go. Drake is the Nickelback of rap. I think the first reaction within me is to just laugh at that and agree, but I actually think Drake's impact on hip-hop culture and just music culture at large is much wider than that of Nickelback when they were popular, and for good reason. And I don't know, I think Drake has some solid cuts under his belt. I think Drake has a solid sound. I do see him as a creative dude, but I just think he makes bad choices. I think his sense of invincibility kind of prevents him from putting better ideas out there sometimes, and he is just kind of inconsistent. When he does come out with a great idea that resonates, it really, really resonates. And while we may look back on Drake as kind of a cringy, surface level, maybe even an underwhelming moment that wasn't as important as we thought it was, you know, I still think it's a part of the culture, a major part, and cannot be discounted. In the way that you could, theoretically, cut Nickelback entirely out of the history of rock and very little of value will be lost. Meanwhile, erase Drake out of the picture and, God, there are so many sounds and trends and artists right now that you might not even have, because Drake either put them on or inspired them. Joji made really great music back in his Filthy Frank days just because it was enjoyable. Look at Ramen King. Nowadays, he just makes generic ambient lo-fi music that isn't as fun or as interesting to listen to. At least I could get a good laugh out of it. Yeah, I won't disagree that I think Joji's older stuff during his Filthy Frank days had a bit more weirdo entertainment value to it. As much as I see a lot of that stuff as a novelty, I think I did have more fun listening to it. Though I think Joji is still pretty early in this musical journey that he's going through, and some of the vocal lines he was laying on that recent 88 Rising compilation did lead me to believe that maybe his singing will improve in the future, and if that is the case, then I could see myself digging his stuff a bit more. Let's argue. Singers who don't write their music are really just actors. Honestly, I don't think writing your own music or not writing your own music changes this fact. I think singing is a lot like acting, period. Even if you're somebody who writes and directs your own movies like the great Tommy Wiseau, you still have to have those acting chops to be an actor, get out there in front of the camera, and perform! And there are plenty of songwriters out there, and producers as well, who come up with great tunes, but they're not very good singers. They either can't convey these songs properly in an emotional manner, or again, they just aren't good at singing. Maybe they just suck at singing. So while yes, singers who don't write their own songs are actors, I think singers who do write their songs are kind of actors too, you know, because they still have to convey that track in an emotional fashion in order for it to connect. So yeah, I agree, but I don't think you made the point that you wanted to make successfully. Surf music is just thrash metal without distortion. No, it is not, and this is why. Bands like My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, and Panic at the Disco shouldn't be referred to as emo bands, and likewise, screamo shouldn't be used to describe any band with screamed vocals. I don't see why they shouldn't be referred to as emo. I think emo, personally, can be a lot of different things. I mean, certainly you are entitled to your most likely very purist opinion here, but I don't know. The rules of emo were never written in stone, even during the early days of Rites of Spring. So Sure, while you could certainly look at a band like that, you could look at a band like Mineral, you could look at a band like Sunny Day Real Estate and say, that's emo right there. That's the real stuff. Emo is going to change and evolve and progress as many genres do. What genre that is 20 or 30 years old still sounds exactly the way that it did when it was first started? Come on. Although I guess I do fully agree with your Screamo comment here, though that's just kind of offhandedly a comment people make who don't know much about extreme or underground music. Anytime they hear screaming, they're like, oh, what is this? A Screamo band? One of those screamer bands? Why haven't you made an appearance on Hot Ones yet? Why haven't you made an appearance on Hot Ones yet? Why haven't you made an appearance on Hot Ones yet? Why haven't you made an appearance on Hot Ones yet? Why haven't you made an appearance on Hot Ones yet? Yeah, they haven't invited me. When they invite me, I'll go on. Dude, Let's Start a Podcast is this generation's version of Dude, Let's Start a Band. That's true. You don't really like 88 Rising's artists musically, but feel obliged to review them mediocre/average scores because they're nice to you. Do you not see the amount of views that the artists get that I review from this label? They are an essential part of the mainstream music landscape. They are a growing up-and-comer, and every single time they drop a new release, I get tons of requests to cover their shit. Which, I mean, that's a lot of the same reasons I cover a lot of things on my channel. Rich Brian has over 1 million fucking followers on Twitter. That's more than a great deal of the that I review. They're popular, they're influencing culture, and I think a great deal of the music they release is at least decent. So I don't know. They kind of fit the criteria for nearly everything else I review, so where you're coming up with this idea, I don't know. And 88 Rising isn't the only label that's nice to me. I mean, certainly there are enough examples of artists out there who have been nice to me in the past, and then I end up giving them kind of a negative review, and then, I don't know, I just kind of give them a negative review. Sometimes they end up pissed off, but I don't know, that's the breaks. Dax will be the first artist to go from the Cringing With show to a yellow flannel. Except that already happened to Kanye West this year. Shadow Todd is a better music critic and probably has better teeth. Then Todd responds, I'm a shitty critic and my teeth are awful. Don't be so hard on yourself, Todd. I like your channel. Mwah, 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 mwah. The progressive house of Deadmau5 in random album title and, for lack of a better name, transcended the repetitive and minimal design of EDM to an incredible level of sonic intricacy and structural beauty while working in the restrictions of dance music. I have to hard agree with a great deal of what you're saying here. I do think Deadmau5's songs are quite interesting on a musical level. I think his mixes are actually pretty fantastic a lot of the time. He's a great producer. Unfortunately, I just find aesthetically his music to be a little underwhelming and kind of by the numbers occasionally. And on top of it, I don't like some of the guest singers that he brings on his stuff, as they, to me, fit the stereotypical plug-in generic above average singer in here to soar over my EDM beat. You know, he seems like a really cutting edge dude and a really creative guy, and I wish he would push the boundaries in the way that some of the great forefathers who clearly had as much talent as he does did, like Daft Punk and that sort of thing. Jaden Smith is ahead of the game lyrically with the overall lack of objectification/sexualization in his bars. What do you think? He's the first rapper this decade to not fucking objectify women in his music? Are you fucking kidding me? Go listen to some Open Mike Eagle. Jesus Christ. Emo is being revived/becoming popular again through rap, Juice WRLD, Trippie Redd, Suicide Boys, etc. I kind of agree with this, and I should actually probably do a video on it even. And yeah, I will leave it at that. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. I love, 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 love you. And over here next to my head is another episode of Let's Argue that you can check out. Hit that up, or the link to subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell as well for a notification. And I hope you're doing well. And I hope you're having a nice day. Anthony Fantano, Let's Argue forever.